Hello and welcome to the 136th session of the Business and Banking Dialogue. I'm KK, your moderator for today's show, which is live across EPS social media channels, YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, and Twitter. Our topic of discussion is very appropriate, is achieving ubiquity of offline payments with the that's a topic for today, offline payments. And our show today has also been delayed because our online system was not working. So you see how disruptions happen. It was not intentional because of the show, but it just happened that we had a technical problem in getting the online connectivity. Anyway, so let's move into the topic. So, like I said, our topic of discussion today is achieving ubiquity of offline payments, and we are today talking to the co-founder and COO of Eroute Technologies, Mr. Abhishek Saxena. He is also the MD of Trices India Private Limited. Abhishek has also worked in HTC, Taiwan, ICP Electronics, and Samsung India Software. You'll find that there is a Tapash, there is a echo coming. Please just mute everyone. Okay, so welcome to the show, Mr. Saxena. Mr. Saxena, can you hear me? You're muted.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you. Is there some noise from the other side? Can you just?
Because I'm in office, so maybe there is some voice. Though okay. My room is.
Okay, cool, no problem. Sure. Okay, some echo coming through. All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, despite 1.15 billion telecom subscribers and over 650 million mobile broadband users in India as of April 2020, according to data with the telecom regulator, connectivity issues continue to persist. This is what the telecom regulator has said, which is why banking and payments regulator, along with the National Payment Corporation of India, NPCI, is pushing companies to develop offline modes of retail payments. So, my first question to Mr. Saxena is that, so why do we experience the need of making offline payments despite having a youthful population, increasing smartphone penetration, and rapid adoption of real-time payments?
Okay, so first of all, thanks for inviting me. I think I'm sharing a dais where Mr. Hota, Mr. Khan, Mr. Ram Rustogi been there, so it's really a privilege to be here. It's just not about me, it's about team. We all are proud. Now, coming back to the point.
Yeah.
So you actually already mentioned in India, since we are 1.3 billion people, and so I don't know why I'm saying myself.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. So you know, because of the population, because of the demography of India, there are plateaus, there are regions where actually internet cannot be deployed. We can understand the problem what Jammu Kashmir people are facing. We can understand all the border areas where internet is always be a challenge. And there are some, you know, infrastructure issues. A large country, so internet penetration. Even let's talk about metros. So today we have faced challenges. The challenge is there because it's a big country, and uh, telcos together, it will take some time to establish all those networks that are required, and also to make sure it can reach out to the people who cannot manage the ARPU, which is expected by the telecoms because they are spending money. So this will be a fact, and we all have to accept this fact that internet is good, is growing. But there will be still offline, you know, areas and offline methods will be continue to be there. So when we talk about the digital payments, there are quite much work has been done in India. In fact, we have done the fantastic work in the world, especially when we talk about UPI and even
Yeah.
for that matter, IMPS. So, you know, because of my background, I have been to many countries, I've stayed there, I've seen those countries very closely. They all are developed nations. But when it comes to the payment, I think
Yeah.
we are number one. And we are very proud of that, that we're number one in the world. Uh, but still, all these payment methods, because of the internet dependencies, are limited, and the usage in rural is getting, it's not zero, it's there, but it's not in proportionate what we have seen in urbans. So as a country, though we have world class payment methods, but as a country, our per capita digital payment is quite low, is in fact lower than the number which China used to be in 2017. And Indonesia, country like Indonesia, they are better than us. Singapore, of course, is fantastic. Other countries are also doing very good. So when it comes to per capita digital transactions, we are quite low today. And Indian government, RBI, NPCI, we all understand. In fact, all these companies, we all understand that if we really want to increase the digital payments in the country, then we have to include everyone. It cannot be done just by the macros or tier one cities, tier two cities. It has to be rural because majority of our people are in rural. 70%, 65, 70% people are living in rural. And if we talk about rural, then internet penetration in rural is quite low. So 35% internet is there, and out of this 35%, 80% of internet is among the top metros and the top cities. So 20% of the people, the internet is spread over the mass population of India. So if we really want to conquer this digital payment war, and we want to establish that India is a digital economy, then there is no choice but to include offline payment as a part of it. And we all need to demonstrate, we all need to get the trust, and we all need to work together to reach out to these people. So I think that is the answer of the question, I hope.
Yeah. So yeah. So you said there's a 35% approximately, plus or minus, spread of internet amongst the population. And you're saying that out of these, 80% are in the metros, right? And in the
Yeah,
urban
tier one.
population, tier one cities. And just about 20% is what in the rest of the India,
Yes.
right? So that includes the rural and
Yeah.
remote areas, right? So that becomes, that pipeline becomes that thin.
Yeah.
Uh, so that's something that I think is a matter of concern. You talked about Indonesia being one of the very good telecom provider. They have a very good telecom system. So does Singapore from an internet point of view, online connectivity. Uh, so what does that makes them their connectivity far superior than us? Yeah.
So it's really not about the connectivity. If we compare the internet speed, then there are countries who are number one, Japan, Korea, they're number one. But the cash usage of Japan is much higher. It's also not, it's not only the internet, there are many things association. There is a touch and feel, there is a character, there is how we have, the generations have been raised. In Indonesia, there was a challenge actually, and if you see even Kenya, the digital payment is the USSD payment is very popular. But the reason of getting this popular is not because of the speed; it's also the need of the hour. So the safety concern was so high in Kenya that everybody wants to use mobile money, because if they don't use mobile money, there is a chance that someone will snatch their cash, or there is so much of mishappening. You cannot take larger cash out of that market. So that is the need for Kenya to to create so much of traction on the mobile money. But
Yeah.
when we talk about India, so fortunately we are not that unstable. We are quite stable, and digital money is popular in India. Digital payment is popular in India. But as we discussed in point one, that it's a large country. There are very segmented and internet issues, just because it is a large country. So when we talk about the population of Indonesia and we talk about the population of India, people will amaze that whatever they are saying is just the customer of our one bank. So it's a different country. So we cannot just directly compare. But yes, there are challenges, but we have to come out with a solution so that all these challenges can be mitigated. And it is possible to mitigate.
Is it the quality or the weather that is a problem, or any other? Can you?
No, I don't think it's a quality. So I think, for my understanding, it is too big, and
Okay.
not just it is too big. There are some infrastructural problems. So if you see the physical map of India, there are some large plateaus. Putting uh, and 4G, 5G, we're talking about 5G. So the more G's are there, the length or the distance between the two are getting shorter.
Mhm.
So just getting 2G is difficult because of that infrastructure issues. How can you build their 4G and then 5G? So that is one of the major issue. Second is telcos. They are business. They want money out of their business. They want output out of it.
Obviously.
But
Yeah.
when we talk about rural, because of not solid use cases, they also face challenges. And recently, if you have seen all the small top-ups and everything, they merged to, like, okay, you have to have 99 rupees plan, or more than 100 rupees plan, because they were
Yeah.
burning so much of money on the infrastructure. So that is also one of the reasons. But now, one of the telecom has geared up and it's doing fantastic job. They're trying to build all those uh, fiber cables and whatever is required to reach out to the rural places. So now we have seen that uh, in the villages, at least panchayats and all those talukas, they are providing all those internet facilities. But when it comes to the payment, it has to be individual. Uh, so understand that the internet has been to panchayat, but when it needs to be a payment, it has to be my own device. It has to be in
Yeah.
my own house. So that will take a little more time, as a country.
Okay. Fair enough. Uh, Mr. Saxena, can you explain some scenarios where offline payments have strong prospects of growth in India?
Sure. So there are actually quite many scenarios,
Okay.
and there are quite many opportunities. Many people have seen these opportunities now, and it's gearing it up. and now I'm getting call from big fours to understand where is the opportunity. So it seems this opportunity is now uh, slowly, going to the right place. So actually, there are two and three segments which I can clearly see that there is a demand and problem of technology. They are not able to solve their demands, but demand is strongly there. One of the biggest demand is MFIs. So there's there are so many MFIs in India. Uh, the guy who is going to provide loan, the guy who's going to collect the money, they all are dealing with cash. And even the people who are providing cash, there are scenarios, and in fact, it's very funny scenarios that they are going sometimes to withdraw money from BCs or ATMs, get the cash to give it to him.
Mm.
So that is also some scenarios we have heard about, and some good PSU banks, they are doing POCs on these scenarios, because what they want is to digitize the whole transaction. So the
Yeah.
guy needs to be there, because he's his relation. They don't want to break the relation. They want to be there. They want to go and collect the money. But in spite of taking cash, they can have some mechanism where he can collect the money as a digital. So as a company, as an MFI, cash is the most expensive thing, the most expensive way of management, right? So
Yeah.
as a company, first of all, they realize the money immediate. They don't need to wait that the agent will go and deposit cash to some station, and that station will convert it to digital, and then they have to pay to the station hefty amount. So all this channel can be broken. At the same time, if there is a mechanism, the digital mechanism, where people can not only just transact, but they can also inquire. So, there are so many inquiries that, okay, whether I'm eligible for the loan, whether, my what is the due date of my loan, what is the amount I need to pay, what is the date, and all that inquiries. If that inquiries can also be solved, then it's a very good solution for this sector. And this sector is the largest sector which is running on cash, and they really want to digitize the whole process. Another segment which we feel is very important, especially, there are some scenarios. We, in fact, got to almost, ready with that POC. That one of the scenario which is important is Ujjwala case. So, I think it's very popular, Ujjwala case, and Modi, Pradhan Mantri Ujjwala case, where have distributed so much of gas cylinders to the
Yeah.
needy. Mostly they all are women,
These are gas
and
connections, right?
gas connections,
Yeah.
and it's all in subsidy. So, or if they want to refill, they get the subsidy. But unfortunately, the refill is not happening the way we were expecting. And the ministry was trying to understand what is the factor, why they're not using it. So there are many reasons, but the major reason is the subsidy goes to their bank account, and
Mm.
they don't have access to bank account. So their bank is far. The bank is on the lady's name, because all these accounts are different accounts, mostly on the lady's name. Ujjwala is on the lady's name. Sometimes they are not allowed to go out. Sometimes they have their own work. Even they go to the nearest BC, there are charges to get cash out. So, if these kind of schemes, if there is a method where they can pull the money from their bank account and pay to the cylinder guy who's coming and delivering them, then they feel that, okay, the subsidy is really coming to them. Otherwise, they feel, okay, subsidy is there in the bank account, but it is of no use. Right? So that is also some segments where currently government and companies, they want to do some research. Last but not the least, a bank itself. So there are some major banks who are doing primary, small amount lending, and also they are popular in rural areas. But to do the banking, they right now what they are doing is they are providing BC network, which is also a very fantastic work. In India, we have seen a large BC distributions brick and mortar is not required. People can just use their thumb, and they can get the money if they want to do money transfer services. They can go to the BC and manage all this. Some of our very good friends have done excellent work there. But that is good. But now we are talking about the end miles, because even in the BC, it's actually a cash management, because you're putting your thumb and you're actually getting cash and doing the things. It's a good step. It's a needed step. But now let's need to target what is the next step. So next step is that the whole chain has to be finished. So in this case also, banks who are very popular in rural, they want to also provide mobile banking to these customers. They can have liberty sitting at their home, understanding their inquiries. They can, transfer funds sitting at their home. So all these features bank also wants to give, because even it is a BC network, or even if they are coming to their branch, it is a cost. There's a cost to the bank. Every service needs a cost. And you can charge half of the cost which they need to provide to BC. And you're not just saving your cost, but at the same time, you are adding revenue to it. So, this is all these segments. I think it's quite important and must be addressed in coming time. Also, these merchant payments. I mean, there are merchants, there are large merchants, small merchants, micro merchants. So that is also something which government want to address, that all these merchant payments can be addressed, because 90% of merchant payment as of today, when we are talking about Paytms of the world, Phone Pay of the world, every bank has a UPI. Still 90% of merchant transactions are in cash. So it's a huge opportunity, I must say.
Yes, absolutely. So tell us something about your company, Abhishek.
Okay.
Eroute Technologies, and what do you all do?
So Eroute's vision is very clear. We want to improve the spending experience of our consumer, and the market, which is cluttered with various of applications, various of solutions, but target segment is the same. They all are metro. They all are same age. So the payments right now is cluttered. So if we talk about 2019 RBI vision document, we have seen that only 100 million unique subscribers are doing digital payments out of 1300 million youth. I mean population. So 100 million is very small number. We wanted to expand the area. We wanted to create a niche, and of course we wanted to focus on payment as well. So we have a solution which can be deployed in rural and low tier market, which can be used on feature phones, because in India there is approximately 900 million plus mobile phone subscribers. Out of that, almost 450 millions are smartphone users, but still majority is our feature phone. And because feature phone users, you cannot deploy any application, you cannot install any application. They have connectivity challenges. There are no non-internet solutions. So our solution is to target all these feature phone customers, whomsoever is required, and provide them a solution which is telecom agnostic. So why I'm saying telecom agnostic, because NPCI and telcos did a fantastic job in back 2015 by starting star 99 hash program, where user can dial star 99 hash from his phone, and through USSD he can do the payments.
Yes.
Right. But because of the telco dependencies, and also USSD is the session mechanism. So the challenges were that people start the session, but then while entering, the details, the session got break and then he needs to start again. And even for seeing the UI, he needs to pay because there is no UI. All the UI comes from the session. So because of these complexities and little expensive in the nature, this US star 99 hash is almost dead now. Even and PCI is admitting that it's not happening, and that is why they are now RBI is coming out with a sandbox where they want to select the entities who can do offline payment. And our I'm delighted to inform that we are one of the entity who've been shortlisted by RBI to do the POC, and right now we have worked with NPCI to create a UPI library that can work on feature. So what we are talking right now is till today, uh, the UPI can only be worked with Android and iOS applications. But now in our POC, we are now doing UPI on feature phone without internet. So a user having a feature phone now can pull money from his bank. He can transfer to any account. He can do bill payments. He can actually do merchant payments. So the power we have given it to the feature phone. That is something which we are working. On the other hand, if you talk about offline payments, so we are launching our first product after we got a license, because we have applied payment license to RBI in recently we got a payment license as well. So under that, thank you. So under that payment license, we are also launching our card. It is a RuPay card and card, and though we are right now targeting for this card, we are targeting pre-bank because that again, when we talk about the clutter, the segment cluttering, what we are targeting is the pre-bank who has not started banking yet, and also we are targeting the underserved. So the pre-bank segment also we are coming with this card, and recently RBI and PCI they come out with a spec where offline wallet can be created on inside a card. So this is already this technology was already there in all of our metro stations. The card which we are using, basically the wallet is inside the card, because when you tap the card, there is nothing going outside. The money is inside the card. You tap it, and the payment will happen. And this is required because it's a long queue. You want immediate payment. You cannot wait like in our credit card or debit card. When we enter the card, it goes then internet via internet. It goes to the issuer bank to get their authorization. So it takes some seconds, to sometimes 50, 60 seconds, almost 1 minute.
Yeah.
But if you do this in a metro station, it cannot work. In metro station, it has to finish in 1 second. Tap and pay, tap and go. So this model, RBI has extended experiment on the offline POS. It means the money is in the card. POS machine is also offline. So people can go and tap the payment. Both sides, there is no internet required. The payment will be successful. And end of the day, that POS has to be either connected to internet, or so the POS can be taken to the place where internet is available. So the whole settlement and the whole sheet will get transferred. Accordingly, the settlement will happen.
So you're using a wallet?
Sorry?
So does it use a wallet or your own wallet you create? How does it work?
Yeah. So in the card itself, there is a small offline wallet you can say. This is a very recent information I'm giving you. It's just happening because Eroute, when it comes to offline, when it comes to payments, we are at top of the information, and most of the time we are doing POCs. So this is something happening, and you will see some POCs coming soon, where we are giving these kind of cards to women, and they can just tap the card, pause, so the MFI guy can take the POS machine, and they will tap to the everybody will tap to the card, tap to the POS machine. Once he will back to his office, the transaction will get started.
Yeah, but the POS machine can also have a SIM card, right? Which
That
can
is
still.
also possible, but as our topic has started, the internet is not everywhere.
Yeah.
So SIM card will not help much because internet is not everywhere. So yes, you can put a SIM card as long as it will come to the network, the payment will be successful.
Okay. So that's great. Ladies and gentlemen, if you have any questions, please do send it in the Q&A box, and we will get it across to Mr. Saxena. And if you want to ask a question directly to him, you can do that too. Raise your hand, and the digital team will help you to ask the question. So I look forward to some of the questions from you. Mr. Saxena, how is the regulator addressing issues of customer eccentricity in terms of data collection and settlement of payments made in offline mode? How does that work? Because you still have to settle this.
Yeah. So I think RBI is doing fantastic job in this, because they have come out with a sandbox concept.
Yeah.
And during this sandbox concept, the companies like Eroute, and there are many more companies who has very fantastic ideas with them. Yeah. They have a chance to do testing under a regulatory framework. And RBI has come out with a very, very clear framework that this is the framework, and you can do testing under that framework. Earlier to this, if you have any new technology, everybody has a fear that what if this goes wrong, or what if RBI has some view on this technology. So the experimentation was little slow, but because of the regulators' effort and a very clear guideline on these sandbox, now all these technologies can be tested. And during the test phase, we will come out with a report where we can suggest settlement cycles. We can suggest what are the challenges are during the transaction. So it is like you launch your program, and then you learn about it. You make sure that this is really fit into the environment, and then you go to the mass deployment. So this is really supportive for companies, for startups, and the companies who has good innovation on payment side. At the same time, RBI have also allowed the wallet concept, which I was talking to you, where anybody can use a small amount into their phone or card or any form factor in that matter, to do a offline payment. So it means there is no need second factor authentication. The amount is low, but there is no need second factor authentication, because at the same time, RBI wants to understand how this small payments can make it easier for the people who has a challenge of entering PIN, or has a challenge of understanding the complicated payments. So I think our regulator is doing fantastic job.
Okay, very good. It's good to know that. So I have a question from one of our viewer, Mr. Pushpendra Khandelwal asked a question. What if you said the card, which is still under development, so fair enough. What if the card is lost?
So that is why we are experimenting with a very small amount. So if the card is lost, there is a chance that the money can be lost as well. But this can be prevented by various methods. So there could be a chance that the money can be retrieved, because as soon as the card is lost, and if there is a mechanism to report it to the entity, then they can disable it. And whenever the POS will come to the network back, there can be mechanism to block those cards. So this is a possibility, but prima facie, the money, and the same thing happened with the Metro card. If you lose the card, money.
Yeah. So are you saying that if you lose the card, you lose the money?
Yes.
Because anybody can tap. Anybody can tap.
Because anybody can tap. Because if the money is in the card, there is no control until the POS comes to the network. But if we talk about the SIM overlay, the mechanism which we are doing, which is offline method, because there is I have not introduced that product yet. I'm going to introduce in one time. I'll explain during that question that how this will not be possible if you use the SIM overlay.
Okay.
And you will not lose them.
Okay, Mr. Khandelwal, thanks for the good question that you asked. If you still have clarification, you can put through that. NPCI had launched this hash 99 hash USSD as an offline November. You yourself said that. The platform works on top of the UPI system, which we all know, and is available on all GSM feature-based phones. However, according to NPCI data, this platform has not taken off. So what factors deterred the growth of this USSD or star 99 hash?
So I think I covered this, touched this topic earlier also. So when it says GSM, actually it will not work with Geo. So it means that is 33% of users cannot use immediately, right? So that is also one of the reasons. But even before Geo, this was not able to taken off just because of the technical issues. Also, too much dependencies on the telecom side. For every change, you need to sync everybody together. And that time, 13 telcos were there when they were planning this star hash and everything. And session break was a major user issue because I have tried by myself, so I understand the pain point. It's very painful. You type a big account number and then suddenly session break and you need to back to square. So this was issue. It was costly even for seeing the UI. You need to pay. So people are not very familiar with the UI. To start to use something, you have to first do a friendship. You really need to spend time with that UI. But to spend time with that UI, you have to pay. So that is also user experience issue. All these factors. There are many more factors which are more technical in it. These factors come in the picture.
So if the characters that you see on feature phones is a limitation, because once you're typed, you're typing in the next one, so you don't know what you typed earlier, and which is the good feature that you have in smartphone. Why not give them a gadget which sits over the feature phone and does that same thing?
So now, exactly. Now you exactly talking.
Do you need a sandbox?
Yeah.
You don't need a sandbox.
Now you are talking about our product, which is a SIM overlay.
Okay.
It's exactly what you mentioned.
Oh, really?
So it's a smart card, basically. It's a smart card. It's a very thin smart card. It's an innovation. And my dear friend, who is the innovator of this technology, and so worldwide widely used technology. So this is something which is solving all these problems. And what just one gentleman asked, what if the card lose? I will lose the money. So all these problems, telco dependency problems, session problems, technical problems. There is no UI problems. How to go back to what you have just typed. All these problems have been solved. We use this SIM overlay. So the idea is, there is a smart card which you can paste it on your SIM card, and it goes to the same SIM slot wherever it is. And the pasting and all is also very scientific, because we provide a card so that you put your SIM and you paste it correct. So there is no human error. So all this process has been streamlined. What we are doing it, we are driving the SDK menu on the phone itself. And so if you remember our Nokia days, we used to check horoscope and cricket score and all these things in a SDK menu. So all these applications comes under SDK menu. So exactly the same menu, you will see one more item, payments, or we are launching it with a Hind Pay. So we say Hind Pay. So if he goes to Hind Pay, now he will see all the menu. It is a static menu. It will always be there. He can check this menu. There will be no charge because it's a part of a phone.
Yeah.
So you can have a UPI payments on this menu. You can have fund transfer. You can have prepaid recharge your phone. You can do bill payments. Everything can be done using those menus. So we have designed those menus, and all this is without internet, because what we do is, for example, I want to transfer my money. So I will enter the UPI ID if I want to transfer my UPI, or if I want to transfer to merchant, then I will add his merchant ID. Or if I want to do bill payments, I will select the bill payments. Whatever it is required, I'll enter the detail. I will enter my PIN. And now this smart card, which is a high-end smart card, this smart card will encrypt all the data in the device. And then this data, this encrypted data will send over the SMS. We will receive, the packet will receive one packet of SMS, which is encrypted SMS. And then they will open this packet, and then the server will know that, okay, this is a fund transfer, or this is UPI payment, or whatever it is, and accordingly it will action. So the action will depends on what exactly is been selected. And after the transaction has been done, then the user will be informed via SMS. So I have done this testing. We pay to the Maggie wala, chai wala, using their QR IDs in the feature phone, and the payment is finished within 20 seconds. So it is as fast as you are paying with your Paytm, Phone Pay, and faster than when you are paying with your credit card or debit card. So it's quite fast, and it's quite reliable, end-to-end encrypted. So security, when it comes to micro payments, we feel security is not important, but actually it's more important, because the small money which belongs to them is more valuable what it belongs to us. So we may afford to lose, but they may not afford to lose. So when it comes to offline payments, when it comes to micro payments, the security is actually more important. This is what we believe. So
absolutely.
So when we talk about this kind of solution, there is end-to-end security. So the data get encrypted from the device itself. This security was not there in USSD. This security is not there in other payment methods which are experimenting at this stage. When we talk about SIM overlay, this end-to-end security is there. So when we talk about security, yes, we are taking care. When we talk about UI, we are taking care. When we talk about dependency on telecoms, it's not there.
Super.
And also there is no sessions, so you cannot go wrong. You can take your time to type. That's fine. It's going nowhere. Take your time. There is no cost coming, and it's just one SMS. And most of the people, they have free SMS, because whatever packages right now coming from telcos, they're bundled with free SMS, 20 SMS, 25 SMS as a free. So it's the same long code SMS. They will not be charged for even SMS.
Okay, we look forward to that. Let's see how it shapes up. Meanwhile, I have a query from Harish Prabhu, a very experienced banker. What is your view on AEPS as a proxy for offline payment systems, not entailing a card nor a mobile? How do you see that evolve in the coming years as a principal means of settlement, both for merchant transaction as well as for cash withdrawal for the merchants?
Yeah. So this is definitely one of the way. So when we talk about offline, There are various methods people are adopting. Uh, this is also one of the method where people can use their biometric. So it's my personal view. There is nothing behind it. What I believe is that biometric future is great, and the reason is we are a human, right? We are human. End of the day, we all are human, and we should not use thing which can, if this become popular, that can be misused. Your card can be misused. It's okay. It's not harming you. Your phone can be misused. It's okay. It's not harming you. But your thumb cannot be misused because it will harm you, right?
Yes.
At the same time, when we talk about AAPS channels, right now the BC network is quite big, quite large, and so much of AAPS transactions we are seeing in the current scenario. But it is a little costly channel. It is a little costly channel when we talk about small merchants. First of all, again, though it is an offline payment, but it is only half offline payment. The other side has to be internet connected. So if you talk about small merchants in rural areas, we are not very sure how much internet they have. So it's not completely offline, right? So it is like the other side is offline, but the other side is still be online. That is something which is just still a challenge.
Thanks, Harish, for a good question. Another question that has come, he hasn't mentioned the name. He says, in Indian context, customer education seems to be a major challenge, especially in payment and banking domain. What can the effective measures to what can be the effective measures to solve this issue, and to what extent can technology be helpful in this matter?
Very valid point. Actually, this is the most important factor. So let's take this in a two different way.
Yeah.
One way which I believe is let's first feed to the hungry people, because right now there are so many people who may be able to understand the technology, but the technology is not there, right? So
Yeah.
and then it's a big number. It's a big number. So every village you will find two people who are smarter than all other people. So if I can at least reach out to these two people in a village, I already have like millions of customers. That
Yeah.
is a one side of it. Second side of it is very valid mention point that there has to be an education. There has to be an education, because without education, they have so much of fear of using digital technology. And let's not talk about rural, even urbans, and let's find people in our house,
Yeah.
including my house. I am running a payment company. I'm very well sure that if I try to go with few of my relatives, they will have a fear even using Paytm and phone, because there is a fear factor that if and especially after UPI, what if all my money can be driven by these apps? What if this? What if that? So this education is needed widely. I mean, everybody need to be educated, not just the rural, not just the urban. It needs education everywhere. First of all, second is technology definitely need to play a big role, and that is how I was talking about in my earlier session, where I'm saying that non-transacting information is also very important. And I have given examples like what is my loan, what is my this, but at the same time, there is to be education can also be traveled during this mode. Tell them that okay, this is safe, this is how it is. And one of my very good friend is from IT Delhi. He's teaching in IT Delhi and he's running his own uh, non-profitable company, radio village, and something like that. So what they are doing, they're constructing all these radios everywhere, wherever it is possible, and they announce things, and at the same time they hear things. So there are many organizations who is doing, for example, in a Ujjwala case. So we also have this question that okay, we can build the technology, but how we will distribute the technology, how we will educate them. So they are also doing very fantastic job. They are doing some sessions with all the village women coming together at one place, and they're telling them the importance of LPG. They're telling them why this is good, why this is bad, and in the same place you can also a little bit talk about the payments. That okay, this is if a way of use it. You don't need to go to these people. You don't need to pay this much money to utilize your services. You don't need to take bus to reach out to your bank. So at the same sessions, this payment can also be a part of it. And the same session we can do the distribution, because distributing the technology is also an important factor to make it success. And the good part and the bad part together coming is that this is something which you have to distribute. And since you have to distribute, you will educate. So the problem itself has an opportunity for us. So and that is how we have built with our network, where we are distributing. And BC is also a good partner to us because they are everywhere. And we come out with a model where we are not conflicting each other, but we are just expanding each other. So we have come up with that model. So these way are there to educate and also to reach out to the people who are hungry.
Yeah. So I think that's very basic thing, that the formal digitization education is extremely important. I think the more we do, I think it's less, because that's the kind of number of people we have, especially in the rural remote areas. For them to make this habit of doing business through to the digitized mode is itself it's a big game change for them. Saxena, what are the new offline payment solutions are about to hit the market? You already mentioned yours. So besides that, and what is the difference between the solution approach between various approaches?
Okay, so when we talk about offline market, offline, then there are 4 or 5 channels, only 4 or 5 channels which you can utilize. So let's talk about two segmentation. One is the phone users, and one segmentation where phone is not involved. So why phone users are important? Because almost every household there is a phone. Even it's a feature phone, but every household is a phone. So more options are available on the phone. So how to reach out to a feature phone? Then there are four methods. Apart from what we have innovated, which is what we have innovated is something disruption is the IP. But if we talk about the existing channels, what can be used? So one is the IVR, the voice. The second is SMS. That is something which you can use freely. The third is that you can use USSD. And the fourth one is that you partner with OEM who is manufacturing phone, and during the production you put some application there, and then it flows with the phone. Okay, these are the 4 channels available. Though there are some other difficulties, and that is why it didn't flourish yet. Difficulties if in the voice, if I say it's not very user friendly, especially even for me. There was a time I was not able to receive OTP, so I used the voice channel to hear the OTP and enter, and I couldn't do it because I'm not habitual of that kind of methods. Then SMS, because it's not secured and there is no UI, so how much code you can memorize and send. So SMS channel is not much. But I know on the IVR side, people are doing some good experiments. I know one of my friend, he's running his company, doing some fantastic work on IVR side. So this is something which is happening. USSD didn't work out for obvious reasons. We have discussed already. And this OEM integration, it's also a possibility. Even we are also planning some possibilities. But the problem is the cluttering. There are so many OEMs, and every OEM has their own way of managing because it's a feature phone. So the OS is not standard. Though there are some work happening on the KaiOS. KaiOS is getting a little popular, and people are developing applications. But again, how to educate the customer, because you are never going to see that customer, and you
Yeah.
are thinking. So again, I think their philosophy is also, let's serve for the hungry people, and then we will see how to expand. These are the options available in the market, though there are challenges in every option, and every challenge is an opportunity.
Okay. So we have a direct question from one of the audience, Mr. Prabhu. Mr. Prabhu, can you please unmute and ask the question? Prabhu, Mr. Prabhu?
Oh, yeah, sorry. So, I was wanting to ask you, pick your brain in terms of the, education pertaining to, digitization, because, and I've been a payments person all for a significant period of time. All the UPI and, the developments in the digital payments is primarily being captured by a few, right? Compared to our 130 crore population or whatever, right?
Yeah.
It's just, at the surface, I don't know how many people are really using it, right? And within that also, it's a very, very small percentage. And within that also, from an age perspective,
Yeah.
the youngsters use it, and, maybe 65% of our population is below the age of whatever, 25 and all,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Now, when we talk about rural India and, including urban India, even in urban India, when there are a lot of people whom I meet on a daily basis who are educated, blah, 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 and all that. But they say, boss, humko dar lagta hai, doctors, engineers, successful businessmen and all that. Now, I have been also, talking to quite a few people in the ecosystem, including NPCI. Let us, how do we actually allay the fears? Now, this fear is something which, it is not something which somebody has put in. It's just that, I mean, भगवान का डर है क्या किसके लिए मालूम नहीं अरे हमारा मोबाइल में से पैसा निकल जाएगा what has the ecosystem, my question to you is, what has the government done, what is the, and I'm sure that government has done a lot, and NPCI may have done a lot, and the ecosystem players have done a lot, but what will it take for people to really actually what do you call it, start making digital payments in a very, very sort of ubiquitous fashion. I mean, I wanted to know your views.
Yeah. So I've been working on this payment industry quite a long, and yeah, your point is absolutely valid. And if you see, only two times this digital payments took a peak: demonetization, and another is COVID. So we are the people, and it's a general phenomena, that we don't want to learn any new thing. I don't want to learn any new thing. You don't want to learn any new thing until someone forces us, or we find some opportunity, or there is a threat. That is the only three methods. So I think when we talk about education, so government has done some fantastic job in some of the areas, definitely. But since it's a big country, there is so much need to be done. But as I know, many NGOs and so much of funds have been used just to educate people about the payments. And during the demonetization, it was happened uh, like a war front. And even in the COVID time, all these private companies, all these NGOs, government, NPCI, RBI, they were trying each and every way, TV ads, even Modi ji, in Man Ki Baat, he was explaining how to use it. So, they're trying, but end of the day, there are people who will never use it. We cannot force everybody. I think Japan is the biggest example. They have the best technology, they have the best internet, but if we talk about cash, they are more than us. They're using cash more than us. So behavioral changes cannot be fixed, that we have to accept it. But at the same time, Mr. Prabhu, there are so many people who are still unaware. So awareness side we really need to work on and continue to work on. And this is something technology will definitely help. In fact, we are also about to work with one of the organizations, and the purpose of that organization is only information. They want to have a two-way information with the feature phone users. and we could successfully pilot that. So awareness, definitely, it's a continuous process, and we need to continue.
So as a corollary, if you don't mind, can there be a business model built around this, awareness training? Because I'm telling you, one of my very close friends has built a very successful business on awareness on cyber security, right? So which people are completely unaware of. So in terms of payment, is there a potential for a business?
Yes, yes. There is a very big potential on the merchant payments, because end of the day, everybody understand that cash is expensive. This is happening everywhere. It's happening everywhere. It's not only uh, you know big shops, but also small shops. So the reason why you can see so many QR codes, even a small tele, because they understand. First thing is the cash. There is a change issues, and second is that if the guy wants to pay digitally, then he cannot ask him to leave. He has to open the digital channels for the purpose. So these kind of training program, imagine if you do it in a low tier places where we aware users to do digital payments, and if users started doing digital payments, then of course the acquiring side will take a big lead, and everybody wants acquiring channels. So this ecosystem can be built definitely, and especially on the acquiring side, they will definitely have something to spend on it and something for this.
Thank you. Thanks, Harish. So we are, we are past the time, 5 o'clock. But just a last question to you, and that always has to be a security question. So security is an important aspect, as you all know, of payment transaction. Okay. How is financial risk and privacy risk mitigated in offline transactions?
So, when we talk about compliances and when we talk about regulations, it doesn't matter you're doing offline, online, it remains the same. If KYC is needed, it means it's needed. It doesn't matter whether it's offline or online, right? And the same thing with the privacy. If it is a private thing, then it has to be a private. So, we cannot have an excuse that no, because I'm going offline, I'm doing very good thing for the country, so I can play with the privacy. No, you cannot. And that is what I was saying, that the solution which we are building is end-to-end secure and private, because we understand this topic very well. And in fact, security means a lot to the people who are sitting there. So I don't see there is any benchmark for that where we can say no, their privacy and security is less important, but ours is more important. All same. And even the testing which we are trying to do on this offline tap and pay card with one FA, the amount is just 200 rupees, because even for the testing it's just 200 rupees, because they understand that we cannot play any risk on top of it, and they want to make sure, the regulator wants to make sure that be it whatever method, whatever channel we use, all the answers need to be mitigated. In case it is not mitigated, I'm not sure they will going to allow any of this.
Yeah, Mr. Saxena, we used to have in the POS machine, we store offline transactions. The BC does it, right?
Yeah.
And then he has to go to the nearest branch, which may not be, which is the 2-day travel or 2 or 3 days travel for him.
Yeah. Yeah.
So during those 2 or 3 days, that the data is still in the POS. Okay, so you're still open to all sorts of security risk there, because somebody else can still withdraw money, correct?
Yes. So that is why they are doing it in a pilot phase, and they have a guideline to make sure that also, because if you put some data in a secure element, that data, changing of that data or playing with that data is very difficult. I cannot say impossible, but it is very difficult. So, and at the same time, if you provide a connectivity on top of the POS, whenever it gets the connectivity, it doesn't need to wait for 2 days when he needs to go to the bank. But the meanwhile, if there is any connectivity, the data can be transmitted. go back to the servers. But you are rightly said, there could be a possibility, and that is why this all testing is required to make sure how to ensure that that possibility is not going to hurt us in long run.
Okay. Final question is just for us to compare. How is it abroad? Offline transactions are there abroad, and is there one or two things you can tell us?
So then we need to abroad. Actually, there are African countries.
Yeah.
There are European, there are American, there are Asian. Everywhere is actually happened in a different way. Everywhere is happening in a different way. So Taiwan, let me tell you the example of Taiwan. It's a developed country. The internet connectivity is superb. The speed is awesome. Everything is good, but they like cash. They like cash,
Okay.
and most of the time they like cash. And there is no problem in a change because this is well understood that the cash will be there. At the same time, they come out with a mechanism, and it's called Easy Card. So this Easy Card, it's a in local Taiwan network. Whether you travel metro, you travel bus, you go to any shopping, you can pay using your Easy Card. So this is widely open, and if recently this Easy Card, because it's money reside on the card, so they come out with a both model, offline model, and at the same time online model. Both models they come
Okay.
out. So it's happening there. If we talk about African countries, USSD is the thing which is very popular there, and they say mobile money because the telecoms are so there is no RBI in those countries. So telecom become a bank. They are actually bigger, much bigger than a bank. And bank is only for lending and doing deposit, but the actual money is now residing with the telcos. Mobile money in Africa is very popular. USSD is very popular. When we talk about US, I think cards are very popular there. But offline payment in US is almost negligible. Yeah.
Negligible. Okay. So, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you enjoyed this discussion that I had with Mr. Saxena on offline payment, how important it is for a country like India. So, absence of or erratic internet connectivity, whether in urban or remote area, is a major impediment for adoption of digital payments. Availability of options to make offline payments using cards, wallets, or mobile devices could boost the adoption of digital payments tremendously, as we have a target of 1 billion transactions a day. Not a month. 1 billion transactions a day is our target. So, needless to say, offline transactions is not validated. Real time must stand the test of security, else the trust and confidence consumers have in digital transactions will quickly fade away. So, with these thoughts, I would please join me in thanking Mr. Saxena for coming over and spending his time with us. I think we discussed in quite a lot and in-depth analysis of the offline payments and what are the new things that are coming out here. Mr. Saxena, thank you very much for coming over and
Thank
talking to
you.
us.
Yeah. Thank you very much for inviting. And thank
Okay.
you
So,
everybody
ladies,
who is watching us. Yeah, thank you very much.
thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, before I bid you goodbye, please, as you know, we've just had a budget session and our future um, sessions uh, will be with some of the well-known economists and academicians to discuss about the budget, because that budget is supposed to be a once-in-a-century budget to propel India to a 5 trillion economy. So let's hear from the people who really matter and who can dissect the budget and tell us, are we there or we are not there? So look forward to meeting you all in this panel discussion in the coming sessions. And once again, thank you for joining and wish you goodbye and have a nice day. Bye.
Yeah, bye-bye.